It seems like you guys can't get enough lost media, so I'm back here with a third part of mobile game lost media. In this part, I'm covering some of the most requested games from the comments along with a couple games that you might remember from your childhood. So make sure to like, subscribe, and comment which game you'd like me to cover next, and let's get into it. If you were a kid back in 2019 and you watched FGTV, then you definitely remember this game. This is Avo by Playdio, and it was this interactive augmented reality puzzle game in which you beat the different stages by using your finger to move Avo, the avocado, around. FGTV's video on the game ended up garnering over 32 million views, which instantly skyrocketed the game's popularity. Eventually though, around 4 years later in 2023, the company behind Avo, Playdio, wasn't making enough money and decided to file for bankruptcy. You know, this is kinda normal. Not every company lasts forever, so after the company shut down, they took down all of their apps with them. This made it so that Avo could no longer be downloaded from the App Store. So one would think that all we'd have to do is get someone who already had the app downloaded and tell them to extract the IPA file for everyone to download. I wish it was that simple, but unfortunately that was not the case. After I made a TikTok about the game, someone actually came out and extracted the IPA file so that we could all download it. And to be honest, it looked super promising. I remember loading up the game and actually being able to play it, but that was only for the first level. You see, by the time I got to the second level, that's when I realized what the problem was. This game is structured into levels, and only the first level of the game was actually free to play. The rest of the levels had to be purchased and downloaded from a server. The thing is, with lost games is that we usually can get around the in-app purchases one way or another, but in this case, even if you did buy the extra levels, you would still have to download them. And with the company being shut down, there are no servers to download the extra levels from. So while this game is not entirely lost, 8 out of the 9 levels in the game are impossible to download, rendering it mostly lost to this day, 6 years later. I think we're all familiar with the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, as well as the creator behind them, Cawthon. But Five Nights at Freddy's wasn't the first game he made. He actually had a lot of game projects prior to ever making FNAF. Most of these were mobile games that later received PC ports. There's honestly a lot of games that I could cover, but it would make for its own video, so I'm really just picking out one. And the one that stood out to me the most was Fighter Mage Bard. This game was released in early 2014, a few months before the release date of the first FNAF game. There's really not much information regarding this game on the internet, but there is a gameplay video out there which you can see playing in the background. And you can just see how much Cawthon's style was already solidified going into the first FNAF game. He really loved that CRT old school kind of look. This game was released for iOS, and funnily enough, it was also released for Windows Phone. Both of these versions are completely lost and there's pretty much no trace of them to this day. And if you were curious enough to look it up online, you might find an archive page for an APK file of the game. But I'm warning you, do not download it because the game was never released on Android, so the APK file is completely fake. In late 2015, the game was actually reskinned and presented as FNAF World Halloween Edition, as sort of an early version of FNAF World. But if you ever played FNAF World, you know this game has nothing to do with it. Our next game is quite a peculiar one. This is Rabbids Arby's Rush. A lot of you might know the Rabbids franchise for their Nintendo games, but they actually had a few mobile games developed as well. One of these being Rabbids Arby's Rush, which was a collab between the Rabbids franchise and Arby's out of every single company on earth. It was a Subway Surfer style game in which you played as a rabbit inside of an Arby's. Yeah, very weird combo, I know. Though the exact date of when the game was taken down is unknown, it was likely taken down around 2020 or 2021. While the game itself was a very interesting collab between two unexpected companies, the gameplay itself was nothing too crazy. As you can see on the screen, they really were just trying to cash in on the Subway Surfers trend. The game's life was short-lived, only being around for just over a year or two, so it's clear that it probably did not get much attention despite the Rabbids franchise being quite popular. Despite this, the game was actually found a few months ago by Dipper Gaming. You may or may not recognize the name Dipper Gaming, but he was actually one of the people that helped archive Charlie the Steak, and he helped us get the IPA file for it. So he's done quite a bit for lost mobile games. Anyways, this game was a pretty cool find and it's quite interesting, so let me know if you ever played this. Our next game is a highly requested one. This is Zoobe. Zoobe was a video messaging platform and they had a web-based and iOS and Android version. The app was available from October 2011 all the way until April 2017. The main use for this app was recording voice messages which would be said back to you via a 3D animated character. Zoobe actually ended up collaborating with a lot of popular franchises including characters from Pac-Man, the Smurfs, Cut the Rope, and even Ice Age, which were all completely legal and licensed. So Zoobe was the real deal. It was around 2015 when the popularity for Zoobe picked up and people started making memes out of the videos that the app produced.
Excuse me, what the actual—
I truly did not realize the sheer amount of memes that made their way over to modern social media like TikTok that originated from Zoobe. It's actually kind of insane just the number of memes that I'm like, wait a minute, I recognize this. And I only recently found out that they originated from this app. So this app might have been more influential than I originally thought. As I said before, Zoobe had a website version and an app version. And when the website version was shut down in 2017, it displayed this message when you tried to open the website. But even trying to access older versions of the website using the Wayback Machine proved to be unsuccessful. The Zoobe APK file was actually found, but it seems like the app requires you to connect to the Zoobe servers. And when you try to run the Zoobe APK today, you're greeted with this message telling you to check your internet connection and to try again later. Zoobe left a pretty big impact on the social media space, and the likely reason that it was shut down so suddenly in 2017 was probably that all of the licensing costs were way too expensive, since they were licensing characters from some of the biggest movies and games at the time. I personally never used the app and I really didn't hear about it until recently because of you guys, but it seems a lot of you loved the app back in the day and it really resonated with you, so I decided to add it to this video. Anyways, let me know what you thought about these lost games, and if you could drop a like and subscribe, that would really help a lot, as well as commenting which lost games you would like me to cover next, because I really do read the comments, and 3 out of the 4 games I covered today were actually from the comment section suggested by you guys, so there's a likely chance that the game you suggest will be mentioned in my next video. So yeah, comment down below. See ya!